you ready to discover who you came here to be? Welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. Human Design is a system and a tool that is here to empower you and show you your greatest potential. Come learn with us and discover who you really are. Hello, and welcome to the Human Design and Astro Club podcast. And this is a bonus interview episode. Woohoo! And it's just me. Leah couldn't, there's a guest, but it's not me and Leah this time. Leah couldn't join us for this. I feel like every time she's always ends up having something going on, and I always end up doing the interview by myself. This is now the third time, but it's okay. The generator will do it. So today's episode is going to be super, super, super fun because we have a 4-6 sacral generator that has a passion that's also been a blossoming passion of mine. This is the second time I'm having someone come on with this topic, actually. And so I'm just going to introduce her. Her name's Lacey, and she is known as the Mushroom Mama. And I'm going to pass the mic over to her so she can share a little bit about herself. So hi, Lacey. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Krystle. Thank you for having me on and missing Leah right now, but I understand that she has things to do. But hi, everybody. My name is Lacey. I am the Mushroom Mama, and I am here to spread the knowledge that mushrooms have for us and everything that they can do beneficially. So I'm excited to have this conversation.
Cool. So I guess first, tell us a little bit of background about yourself. And if you want to insert, when did you discover mushrooms? What is your journey there? And also we can incorporate human design in a few different places when it feels right. We're both sacral generators. So we're just operating in response right now.
Human design and mushrooms really happened at the same time. So I still try to think about how that happened, but it's been a journey. So if you don't mind, I'll just kind of go back a little bit because this is part of the story. So I am 10 years into recovery from drugs. I was definitely a hardcore user, and without my parents calling the cops on me, I don't know how I would have gotten sober because I've done that. I did that a few different times and nothing ever stuck. But once that happened, I realized that I was given the last lease on life and that I really needed to figure it out and work hard. And I worked hard on my sobriety for years and years and years, and I still do. That's still one of the number one things in my life that I won't stop doing because my children, myself, family, friends, everybody deserves to have the whole me. So I was out in Colorado, and this was 6 years ago. I was in a bad relationship, got out of that. And when I was honestly very depressed, very to myself, I need to change something. What can I do to give myself relief, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the things. I just needed relief, and I wasn't trying to do anything drastic. But I also wasn't trying to get on prescription pills because I do not believe in those. I feel like Big Pharma is here to hold us down, and there are other ways, more natural ways to take care of ourselves. And one of my friends, she's like, well, here's some mushrooms. So I started microdosing, and that literally changed my whole outlook. And I microdosed on and off on a schedule for a year. And in between that, I also did macro doses. So I would sit with 4 to 5 grams every so often, probably every other month, if I remember correctly. And that really opened up and just let loose all of this just hatred that I had towards myself for the very recent mistakes that I had made, and given myself a new lease on life to be able to be the whole me. And that's also when human design came in. I still really try to think about how everything coincided, but it's synchronicities, and like mycelium that mushrooms grow with in their network, it's like the same thing. So I just need to let that go and know that I was supposed to find mushrooms and human design all in the same time. And this is where I'm at now. So that was really 5 years ago. I'm on my 5th year of journeying with mushrooms and human design, and
Wow.
just trying to be an advocate, a facilitator, and someone who has lived a hard life, but also has made a really good life out of literally nothing, something out of nothing. So
Yeah.
I also have a cleaning business and do all the things for kids.
Kind of your sacral bopping around is what I call it. We sacral bop. And you know what's so funny? You were talking about with human design and mushrooms, it just made me realize that when I did this last interview with somebody else when we talked about mushrooms, we brought up that during the Cro-Magnon period, supposedly, I mean, who knows, that they found mushrooms and took the mushrooms, and I believe that that is what helped them mutate into the next version. And
I
now here we are now. I
Yes.
there's a new version coming in right after 2027. And so we all need the upgrade again.
And that's for me, and I know that I'll know more about the 2027, but that's very, when you just said that, I also have a reflector body.
Mm-hmm.
And will I be more of a reflector body when that happens, or will I still be generator just like I
Well,
am?
we're still going to be us, but I think because in the new version that's coming in, um they're going to have a different configuration and design.
Right.
All supposedly, this is loose,
Mhm.
nothing's happened yet. It's
Right.
just right now a fun story to contemplate. But what I'll tell you is I did my history and my research. I have the Channel of Surrender, which is all about past memory and history with the 44. And so I did my research between human design and just history in general. And that's kind of what Raw did. He also had that channel as well.
Mhm.
I find that fascinating. But all the past experiences that coincide with human design and the next stages and steps and the way people were all exact. Like before we were in the cross of planning, we were in the cross of rulership. It was during with
Mm.
the kings, queens, pharaohs, and all, like it all just makes
Wow.
so much sense. And so I feel like we're having a moment right now with these tools from the earth, basically.
Mhm.
And we need them because with these upgraded beings that are coming, I think that we'll have a more elevated consciousness just from what I see. Who knows? I never
Right.
say that this is it. And
Right.
there's so many different directions we could really go. But I see this as a huge potential. That's what I'm always just looking for potentials. How things will actually play out, who the fuck knows? You
Right.
know? I don't. I mean, I will say I've been right so far on what's been happening. I have been right so far. So I'm like, so far, so good. But, I'm a third line, so I could fuck up.
That's, I'm telling you, I also wanted just to let you know, thank you for being so open and vulnerable on the podcast and for YouTube, because I do believe like-minded, we're supposed to find each other. And through the different teachers that I've had, there's a couple that are legit, but the
Mhm.
one that I got certified under, I'm just like, oh boy, there's more of like a charlatan vibe and all
Mhm.
about the money. And
Mhm.
you've given, I'm just going to speak for me, you've given me so much to like feed off of and learn and just continue to like grow. And I very much appreciate that. What you guys have done is amazing. So
Well,
please
thank
keep it up.
you. Thank you. And Lacey's in our cosmic community. So,
Join.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, that has been something that I've wanted to do for a long time, is just bringing a group of people together that are like-minded, as you were saying, that are on, you know, some sort of path and just need almost like that support, and also ways to converse and see, and like we're all sharing new ideas. Like I just feel like Leah and I are more facilitators of the group that are kind of like in a way leading it, but I don't believe anyone is below me with this. And I love everyone's input and support, and I'm
But you
just,
guys had to start it. You know,
yeah, someone's got to
you had to.
start.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm so happy that I found you, and then like everyone in the group is just amazing. I'm gonna
Yeah.
cry. I'm like, don't say any more good things about me. I'm gonna cry. Oh, but also my defined heart's
True.
like, keep going, you
Yeah,
know.
please come on.
But yeah, so I know we went in just like a little bit of a different direction with, I don't, there's total, and I'm so curious for us to look back like 10 years from now and see when we really have transitions into the next phase, and like how much maybe these, you know, earth tools did make that impact.
It's gonna be amazing because 10 years from now I'll be 48 and like close to my on the roof phase. And
Getting off.
yeah, like I'm very, very much, yeah, exactly. I'm very much I'm the most comfortable I've ever been in my body now. Like
Mm.
the last since 21 till now, I'm just like, okay, so I've always questioned, who is Lacey? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, is this my life? And now that I've gone through shit so much, so much, so much, so much, literally until I was like 32. Life was just like
Well, that's the sixth
trial and
line.
error. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. And now I understand that I was supposed to go through those lessons to learn them, to know them, to be able to guide people through them, guide my children through things, and like family, whoever, to like their alignment, really. So yeah.
It's yeah, it's being a six line. I've been reading for a lot of six lines lately for some reason.
Hmm.
And I keep
I
having
need
the
your help.
same. Do you? I'm like peeking to a third line. I'm like, but it's just, I call the six lines like the butterflies,
Mm,
because you have to start out as a caterpillar, right? You're on the ground floor. You're the third line. You got to go through the experience. You can't be a role model or a true blossom, beautiful butterfly without, you know, going through the hard shit. You got to be that little squirrely thing that's like bumping into things,
yep.
experiencing life. Like you can't do that from above. But then there's just like a point where you guys are like, I'm done with this fucking shit. And
Yeah.
like something but it's not even, it is that. And then there's also like this like shattering that
Mm.
happens to you guys in your Saturn return. That my husband's also a six line, he's a 6'2". And so I
Mhm.
got to like watch this, like knowing human design, and just like, I'm like, oh my God, here it is. He's just entered his Saturn return.
Like, oh
I
God.
get because he was very, very, very different as a third line. I met him when we were 24.
Oh.
So he was a very different person. He wanted to like be around people more. And like now that he's on the roof, he said to me the other day, because I've had all these like, I keep being a third line, you know. I'm like, the third line should just be, I'm in the mood to get hurt again. It's just like, that should just be that's just like, now you feel like I don't want to do that as much.
Yeah.
You're like, just,
Done.
yeah. I'm like,
So done.
every time I'll tell myself I'm done, I'm like, no more friends. I'm never socializing again. And then I meet somebody and I'm like, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Oh,
totally, I totally understand that. And just to respond to like when enough's enough and done is done, I do understand those pivotal moments when like the shift happened.
Mhm.
Um, and it's like just asking the universe, God, source, whoever, like, I'm done. I legitimately, this is it. And when I say this is it, I'm not like joking. So
Mhm.
please show me what the next thing is.
Mm.
Please show me what the next thing is. And that patience, but also doing the next right thing leads you to this conversation and looking back like, oh my God, like I really did go through all that stuff, and it's like very I want to say out of body experience, because I almost don't feel like I'm that person, and I
Yeah.
can't believe I did that stuff. Like I had to fight for everything. Like if I just broke down some of the stories, it's just like, oh my God, and really? Like, yeah, I know. I know. So yeah.
Yeah. And now that my husband's on the roof, he's like telling me like, I'm content with just you and the kids. I'm like, no.
You need more. Go
I'm like,
get
you
friends.
need friends. He's like, I don't need friends. I'm like, this is sixth line. Like you're on the roof. You're like, I don't want to be
Mhm.
involved. But
I'm
yeah.
going through that. I get that.
So, but I have recently, actually, I just did a reading for someone that's in the Chiron return, and
Mm.
so we did a Chiron reading. And it was interesting talking, and she's a sixth line, so it was interesting talking to her about her experience with that that next feeling of, oh, I'm done here. I need to come back down,
Yep.
because I've watched so many people get on the roof, but I haven't watched too many people actually get off the roof yet. So it was interesting to hear her perspective. And then I read for another person that they just got off the roof 2 years ago. So during their Saturn return, they got married, and then during their Chiron return, they got divorced.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Um. mm. I feel like I've always known a part of me that my 40s, like legitimately turning 40, life is going to be
Mm.
so much more easier and amazing. And I do believe in that time frame. If marriage is going to happen, it'll happen then.
Mm.
But I want my kids to be grown. I don't want them to feel any type of way because of my past,
Mm.
you know? But yeah, like I can see that happening. And now that you say that, it is funny about the Chiron return, the Saturn return, and then the Chiron return. And I've known a lot of people to divorce within that time.
Mhm.
And it
Yeah.
makes sense. I'm kind of just thinking about all of
Yeah.
the
Especially
divorces and stuff.
especially six lines, because it's like you have these, just like these points that this is the next stage, this is the next stage.
Yeah.
And so right now you're in your little crystallizing phase in the
Mm-hmm.
cocoon, and you're in the gooey phase
Mm-hmm.
of life. So yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot.
that's
I
why
can,
you're building all this stuff with what you're doing with mushrooms, your
yeah,
experiences, your knowledge and wisdom, the
yeah.
retreats you're doing, the circles you're doing.
Whew. And I do want to mention, without like ayahuasca, also, I do believe that I went in a very generator step by step with, and not even planning it like that, but
Yeah.
now knowing that I had fun with drugs when I was on them, but it was totally different. This is like journeying to heal that connector that needs to connect in my brain, that needs to connect my heart, that
Mhm.
needs to connect my like sacral too. Even though I'm open in my heart, there has to be that connection. And I think that ayahuasca has I've been able to purge out those things.
I was about to say it's probably a heavy deconditioning,
Whew.
because that's what I feel like mushrooms have been for me. I'm just, so everybody knows, I also microdose. I did my first little journey with my 6'2" husband. And oh my God, can I tell you this story really quick? I feel like I want to see all your responses for a
Yeah.
second. I'll try to go quick, and maybe I need to share the pictures. I don't on my stories. Maybe I'll let you know when I'm gonna do that so you can see it. Um
Please don't
oh,
forget because I want to see those.
you're this isn't it because you need without the visuals, it doesn't do it justice.
Uh-huh.
So for my husband's birthday, like 2 years ago, or like right after, yeah, it was in October. Or no, it was right before Halloween. Or was it in October? I think it might have been in October, actually. Yeah, beginning of October. And they had put out their Halloween decorations because that's how I remember. I'm like, that's how I remember the time frame. But um I wanted to do mushrooms. And so my husband's like, okay, your mom's coming into town for my youngest birthday. That's how I know it was also October. I'm like, yeah, this is all making sense. So my mom watched our kids for the weekend. We went to Charlotte, and they had this like campground with these little this was wait, just wait because it gets so good. I'm gonna try to do this like I because I could really go into a long detail, and I don't want to take over from asking you questions, but I feel like you need to hear this story.
Yeah.
So we get there, and it's like set up for like a terrifying experience already because all the Halloween decorations are out. Okay. We didn't know that either. They put them out early. And so but we get into our little they're like these little cabins, okay? And it's so cute. You're like, "Oh, it's like really at the beginning of a horror film." You know what I'm talking about? Where
Yep.
like they go to camp and
Yep. Yep.
and and it just seems so fun and everything's gonna be great. And so we
And
take
they pluck you off
mushrooms.
one by
I,
one.
I'm gonna send you the picture of me on mushrooms after this, and
Oh my gosh.
you're because the beginning was so beautiful. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So beautiful. I take the mushrooms. I'm seeing our other chakra that's actually dormant in our hands. So
Mm.
we have we have another chakra that's in our hands that look like eyes. But this is what I saw when I went on mushrooms for the first time. They look like eyes, but they were gray. And I got told that's because they're not activated. So I was like, oh my, I kept looking at them, and I'm like, and like I could see like how all our veins form all the patterns in our hands, and then I could see everything had lines, and like my husband would put the music on, and then the all the frequencies would dance with the music. And I was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. And then it was on a lake. So we went down to the lake, and this is where you'll see the picture. There's this very generator picture of me, like, oh, like I was just like so elated. I was just like,
Yes.
the best feeling of my life. I'm like watching the patterns in the water. You know,
That's the
not,
best too.
it really is. Like I could do
Yeah.
that forever. And so now I see it all the time now because it's there. And that's
Mm.
why I really got in touch with sacred geometry and with the crystal grids and the body graph grid sequence all came from mushrooms. This is all it's crazy.
It
Um,
makes sense.
so yeah,
Okay,
go ahead.
if
No, go. You have a response.
the all of the grids that you have sent, I've seen those mushrooms and a more even more 3D on ayahuasca. There's only been two times on ayahuasca
Yeah.
where I've seen the grids like that, and it's like beautiful, just like crying beautiful. Like, oh my God, I can't even blink because if
Like
I blink, I'm missing
this is what
something.
it actually looks like, but we
Yes,
can't see it.
yes.
It's crazy. So yeah, so I was seeing all the grids, everything was I was getting downloads. I'm like, I'm seeing our other shock. I'm like, can I turn this on? I was like, I was like, how do I do it?
Yes.
I was having like full on. I mean, and I also have a reflector body too. So
Mm.
I am super sensitive in my
Hmm.
physical body. And so all of a sudden, nighttime comes.
Oh boy.
And I go to the bathroom and I see a roach. And so and these and I'm from Florida where there's some big cockroaches, but
Hmm.
these were big mamas. I
Hmm.
was like, "Oh my God." And so I tell Dave and he stomps on it. And then I'm like, "Dave, we know this. When there's one, there's many."
Yeah.
And
Oh.
so, but wait. So we're like, okay, we're going to sit and we're going to watch a movie. We've done all the things. We were exploring all day, blah, blah, blah. We're going to just sit and watch a movie now. We're sitting and watching a movie. All of a sudden, in the ceiling,
Yep.
I see, because there's a crack, there's some sort of crack. You know, they just collapse their little bodies and slide right through. And so they start streaming in. I'm still on mushrooms also. So
Yeah, you're like,
and I am terrified of roaches.
oh yeah.
And so
This is like Men in Black.
my biggest fear is happening as I'm on mushrooms, and I'm like, and I'm like crouched in and like these are also very small cabins. They're almost like trailers. Okay. I'm like crouched in a corner and I'm like, I can't move. And Dave's like, we can't stay here. And I'm like, you're on mushrooms.
Like, yeah.
He's like, it's only a 2-hour drive back to our house, or 3 hours, actually, I think. And I'm like, and it's also at this point, like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, you know, like, and like, there's no lights near us. So
I wouldn't be able to sleep.
so we left.
Mm-hmm.
And my
Yep.
6'2" generator husband drove us on mushrooms back to Asheville.
Was it a good car ride? Because I imagine that it was.
It was a little terrifying at first because there was also because we were in like this weird woodsy area. And so we had to get out of there first. And like there's no real directions on how to get out. We don't even remember how we got in. And so there was just it went full circle from like the most beautiful experience I could have possibly had to like my worst nightmare coming true.
Literally.
And
I
that's
just think of Men in Black.
and I feel like that's like the journey. Like I didn't, but I had to experience it in 3D. I'm like, could we have done this in a different way? I would have felt that like let the demons internally happen.
And that's what, like, yes, the demons can you can purge, right? You can yawn things out, cry things, throw up, go to the bathroom, but there's only been a couple times on mushrooms where I have purged, like hardcore purge things out. Normally, if I'm by myself, I'll get my music on. Sometimes it's too much, so I'll just sit and like with my mask on and just let everything wash over me. But ayahuasca, I really, really feel like actually gets into the cells and like will make you purge like self-hatred, whatever, like sugar. Like that's what I'm trying to purge this next time is my addiction to sugar, because it is fucking stupid. It at this point I'm just like, why is this not connecting, or like whatever it is. Yeah, because and I know this sounds crazy, but my first ayahuasca experience, I was literally exorcised of demons, and the sulfur black pepper came out of my mouth. The group that I was with the next day was like, "Are you good?" Because some shit happened. And I'm like, I love myself right now, and my anxiety is actually gone. And they go, well, that had to have been it, because and there was other people who had things go on too, but I'll never forget that experience.
What was it like? Can you? I know that we were on the mushrooms, but we've gone to the next stage, guys. So
sorry guys.
No, we're going where response takes us. That's
so
what we're doing.
The that whole trip was kind of a weird trip, but the shaman is amazing, and I still sit with him today because he is from Colombia. He's very indigenous. He has worked with this medicine since he was honestly like 10 years old. And his grandfather is the one who helped him with that. And I trust him. And I know that I only took 2 cups too. And by the second cup, I was exhaling, and I don't know how long I was exhaling for. I was not breathing.
Mm.
And Taita understood that because he very much goes off of energetics. And he came over and he did uh some type of healing, and then he like pressed on my back twice. And when that happened the first time, it just came out of my mouth, and I didn't have my eyes opened or anything. But he did that again, and that same taste came out of my mouth. And then I literally said thank you, and I passed out.
Wow.
I mean, I just was out. And then I woke up the next day and everybody was like, you went through the shit. And then the next ceremony was a beautiful daytime ceremony where I saw fractals and stuff like that.
Wow. What do fractals look like for you? Can you describe some of the imagery that you've seen? I love when people.
Ooh, yeah. So I saw this. I don't know if you can see this tattoo,
Mhm.
but I
Mhm.
saw this. And then I do believe that I saw one of your grid designs, but it was like, mm, it was almost like moonstone, and very beautiful. Like it was gold, but it was also moonstone, and I could see through it, and it was
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
moving, you
That's what
know?
I saw that so everything is a rainbow.
Yes, yes.
Like literally like that.
Iridescent rainbow.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Yep. Yes. Iridescent rainbow.
and that's all I see
Mm.
now. And I think it's because I don't know exactly what the message is for me, but like it keeps showing up with like opal and like I
Mm.
felt called, where do I have it? I felt called to get this like wand, which is like I don't know if it's gonna make out the, can you see?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm like, this is what you see. This is like what exists. And everything is a rainbow.
Yep. So like my moonstone, it's almost
Yeah.
when you hit it on the clear parts where you can see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Ooh, I'm glad that we have seen the same thing.
Yes, that's how you know how correct it is. And I talked to
Ooh,
other
okay.
people about this. They're like, wow, I have not had that experience at all. And I was like, really? I'm like,
Again, lone
I'm,
wolf.
I'm like, all I had to do was take just some mushrooms. I don't even know how I don't know. My husband weighed it out for me, gave it to me. I'm just like, okay. I
Yep.
just took them and
Yep.
I just went down. And I said to Dave, have you ever had that? Because he's done them a lot and he's done some other, he went through his whole third line phase of experimenting too. And he's like, no. And I was like, is that only for certain people that get to see that? Like that has to be one of the deeper layers to be able to see that, is what I'm realizing now.
So is that like, I always call it like seventh dimension. Like, I don't know how many dimensions, but we're in third dimension. And
Mhm.
like fifth dimension definitely is like mushrooms. But when you get to, and maybe it is, there shouldn't be a label on it, whatever
Yeah.
dimension. It's just like, I'm there. I'm like physically here, but I'm not, I'm astroplaning, I'm traveling, I'm doing other things right now. And being able to see that also, every time a journey ends, it's like pause and then you do it again whenever that is. And it's like unpause, play, it
Yeah.
takes off from where you left off. And that's what I love it. I love it.
Hi, friends. Krystle here. New year and new you. And boy, do we have some new tools for you to help you transform your life into the one you have always dreamed of. We have some new ways for you to connect with us outside of the show. So we have a free guide on tips and tricks to honoring your strategy and authority. We also have a language manual to your true self to help you understand the key terms in human design and how to apply them to reading your human design chart and also to your life. And we are so happy to announce doors are now open for the Cosmic Community, which is a no commitment or 5-month commitment package to connecting with us over in our private Facebook group. You will have the chance to connect with Leah and myself each month with our premium episodes through our Program Plus monthly forecast. There's also weekly aura energy updates, weekly tarot card pulls connected to a human design gate, monthly market shares for fellow entrepreneurs to share their work, and exclusive bonus content you will not be getting anywhere else from us. Come join the cosmic community to understand how to utilize the transits to your advantage and have a safe space to learn, grow, and connect. And we also have our children's class called Nurture Your Child Through Their Design. And our most popular classes are our variable mini classes, which are bite-sized, self-paced audios and guidebooks on the first 2 transformations. And if you want to stay connected with some education and love from us, join our email list and check out our website, which you can find that and every offer I just discussed down below in the show notes. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you over on our next episode. Wow. This is like, we could have that conversation on like all the things that you see and stuff, and I'm just like, it's just so great. Like, so in Kabbalah they say that you only see 1% of what's actually happening here. The 99% is all the other dimensions. But I mean, and they're happening simultaneously as we're experiencing this. But it's like, we can't know the bigger picture, because then maybe we wouldn't allow ourselves the free will to sometimes make the wrong choice. And even the wrong choice is the right choice. It's just a different path or a longer path. Right. Like, I love taking the scenic routes, it seems like, for my life. I'm like, we're not taking the highway.
No, we're taking this
back roads, the alleys.
Yes. Yes, the dirt roads.
Yeah, the gravel. Yeah. Maybe hanging off a cliff a little bit. Like,
I was seeing that. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's just, it does it, even if maybe it could have been a better way. It had to be that way for a purpose. You chose to have that. I'm going to take, because there's just, at the end, I do believe we all end up getting to like the same place. Maybe we could have learned more in some capacity, but that's the choice that we made this life. And yeah.
Do you, though, being somebody who sits regularly with psychedelics, I've been questioned. I don't want this to sound crazy, but
we've already gone to so many places.
Here we go. I wonder about some people, like, are they NPCs? Like, because the way some people live, they don't allow themselves to think outside of the box. And maybe they're afraid of letting go of who they are, but it's like, you guys, there's so much more out there. And because of plant medicine, and I'm that mushrooms, ayahuasca, like all the things, I'm so much more patient. I literally respond, and human design, I respond because that means I'm thinking about what I'm going to say versus reacting. Reacting, I'm just spewing whatever. Responding, I'm thinking about it, and in that, I'm like coming back from ceremony or whatever, and I just wonder how people live life. It's like, you guys, you don't even understand. You don't even get it. You don't even get it.
I think we come here with certain contracts of that we're going to, like, obviously things can change and shift. I think that's the whole point of free will. But for some people, they're not meant to have these elevated experiences. They signed up for something else.
Makes me sad, especially in
Yeah.
my friend
It's
group.
not
Like,
saying they can't decide to change. And maybe there's
right.
like, I think there's like a few different, sorry, my husband's texting me. I think
Okay,
there's
I
like,
know.
I think there's just there's a few different pathways we can take. And that's why I said, I think eventually at the end, it's kind of a similar conclusion, but it's like, what experience did you want to have along that journey? What
Mm,
was the process?
yeah. And I guess I also chalk it up to maybe their last few lives have been very exciting, whatever that means. And
Yeah.
this is just like, I'm playing this super neutral,
Yeah.
you know, this is the only line I'm walking. I'm
Yeah.
not going to go off
Yeah.
of it at all. I'm like, okay.
I
Okay.
would love to have a conversation with them after 2027 and see
Mhm.
maybe they might have a different take because we're
Mhm.
about to go down a few different avenues that,
Mhm.
do you have a defined, I forget, do you have a defined spleen?
Nope.
No,
I
I don't
have
have defined.
gate 28 coming out of that.
You only have the 28. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's been
actually, the book
it's
profile.
been very interesting for me with having a defined spleen and like I get these little like they're almost like fear nudges on like the future. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's because the 57 is one of my bridge gates that merge my one of my splits is the 57. And so and I don't understand it so well because I don't actually have it, but every so often, my mom actually has it. So every so often I'll get this weird like future like visual
Mm.
and it ends up happening.
That's kind of
Yeah.
tying with what we first were talking about when
Which
we first got on the podcast. I don't really want to bring it up, but like about what's happening next year for the presidential
Oh, the
election.
election. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that. I feel like that's awesome that you're able, well, it is awesome that you're able to get snippets of
But I don't
what's to
know.
come,
I'm like, I
you
don't know
know?
if but why? Why? I don't want that burden, but that's like desire. I don't want that burden. I want to be innocent. I want to be in innocence and be like, we'll just see what happens. Like, let's just see what happens. But I know that I am here to lead people and I have to be able to see where we're
Yep.
going to go if I'm going
Yep.
to lead you.
Yep.
Sometimes it does often feel like sometimes blindly because like even though I get these images and these messages or whatever, it still feels scary. It still
Yeah.
feels unknown because at the end of the day, we don't really know.
Right. Right. I have gate 28.1 on my conscious and 28.3 on my unconscious. And
That's
that's in
Pluto.
Pluto. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have two, because we're in the
Yep.
same family. We're in the
Yeah.
same family.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Yes. And
yeah, because we were born around the same time. So
we
that's why
were.
So yeah, I have the 20 both places too.
Yep.
And that's in the planet of truth. and
Mm,
and like really evolution, like our evolution really in a lot of ways because it's what we're here to transmute.
mm. That all just like gave me goosebumps and actually just set in like I always say, I can't get away with a lie.
Mm.
I can't get away with a lie. Everything that I do is on like Front Street. When I was getting sober and all the stuff, like, just like having to be in front of judges, having a police report, having this, having that, having to always just be truthful. And now I live by that, because why not? It may hurt, but at least I'm telling the truth and I don't have to fix it, because I'm tired of like fixing things. So I'm just going to be truthful about it, whatever it means. So,
Gate 28 is the fear of death.
because if it is, I don't think I'm afraid of death. I am afraid of leaving my kids. I want my kids to bury me, of course, but I do know now that once I die, I know it's going to be truly like living.
Hmm.
Um,
What did ayahuasca tell you after about did it speak to you about death?
I do believe this last time, yes. And this last time was a crazy
Yes,
experience.
state 28 is the fear of death.
Okay, so what is that? Like literally the fear of death or like fear of ego death
Fear
or
of running out of time.
oh my God. Oh my God. And I'm gonna get this tattooed. So Muse is one of my favorite bands, and in one of their
I
songs,
love Muse too.
don't waste your time or time will waste you.
Wow.
That's been one of
Yeah,
my most favorite lines ever. And it's so
that's the
true.
truth.
It's it's literally the truth. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So is that so the 38 from the root is
the
like
spider.
this okay, so what struggle is worth struggling for type?
Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah.
Yep. Okay. Um I don't
And
have
the
that, but
28's like, what am I willing to put up with? That's what the 28 says. What am I willing to put up with? Also constantly asking, what's the fucking point? Like, what's the point? Like,
literally.
what's the purpose? Why am I doing this? Because back to the fear of death, like it's all like there's always like, how much time do I have? Like, if you think it's reaching for pressure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Mm.
yeah,
Okay.
I've
That
contemplated the 28 for a long time.
I feel like we have a lot of similarities.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna hold a lot of the same gates that are in the, the generational planets like Pluto.
Right. Got it. That makes sense. So yeah,
Yeah.
so ayahuasca this last time, Taita, I would have so this is the second ceremony. I had my eyes closed a lot of the time, and every time I would open my eyes, he would be there. And I'm like, and he goes, third cup. And this is after I've taken 2 cups already. He's like, third cup. I'm like, damn, because I already know that it's gonna be a journey. And even though it's beautiful, it can be hard. I don't like, I'm unemotional. I'm completely open solar plexus. So for me, I do cry, but I don't if I don't need to.
Hmm.
But if it's like a commercial, I'll cry,
You don't know
like,
when it's gonna hit you.
oh God, it's dumb. And then he gave me a fourth cup and I blasted off. I was just like, I'm I was literally saying this out loud, like, I'm never gonna see again, like I'm never gonna see the same again.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
were kind of laughing at it, but it was like figuratively and literal. I'm never going to see the same again. And if this is what the other side looks like, I'm all right. I'm all right.
What did it look like? Okay, let's close with you telling us what it looks like, and then I want to hear what steps people should take if they want to maybe learn about mushrooms and like what are those steps? Because I think a lot of people are at the beginning
Mm-hmm.
of their experience. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of still am too. Like, I will not, like, 2 years into experimenting with this, I'm still a newbie. So
Well, we're just now,
wait, first, before you go there,
yeah,
tell us your ayahuasca.
ayahuasca.
What
Yes.
did you see on the other side?
So honestly, I don't know if I saw anything. I'm more like cognitive. I feel and know things.
Mhm.
I just felt peace. And as much as I'm trying to live in this lifetime, I have lived a really good life and I have supported myself, my kids, my family, my friends, people that I just meet, because people just come up and talk to me and like divulge everything. And I'm like,
Mm.
I don't even know your name, but I'm here for that. If you feel safe enough for me or for you to tell me that stuff, then I'm here for it. But death, there's no need to fear it because we really do start living after we take our last breath. And as much as that is scary, because we're leaving what we know.
Mm-hmm.
We're going home to what we really know too.
Mm.
And we're always here. Like I know that all of my loved ones that have passed, I know when they're here with me.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's just if you tell yourself no and tell yourself no and you close it off, you're not going to feel it. But if you allow yourself to be open, then things come. Then things come. And like death is not scary. It really isn't.
Did
It's
you get any
beautiful.
messages on
I
on
think I'm still trying to integrate that because that ceremony in particular was such a I went through so many emotions in that ceremony that I don't know if I'm going to get the answers right now.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I know that I just need to keep going and that I'm on the path that I'm supposed to be on. And literally she told me like, thank you for showing up.
Mm.
And I do think that means like for my kids, like I want my 17-year-old, he'll be 18 in November. I want him to come sit. But next time we have one, he's coming with me because
Mm.
he's had trauma in his little life. And I want him to be as fresh as he can to let's get the shit out and you just be your authentic self. And
Mm.
my kids, like I want them to be able to sit in Iowa when they can and sit with mushrooms when they can because I'm pro mushroom, I'm pro ayahuasca. Like plant medicine has been here longer than we have right now. So why are we making it illegal and all this stuff? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. There is an essence of control, but I think there's a lot at the same time that we really just don't know. And like a lot of systems that have been in place for a very long time. And as we were talking about before, most of these are seven-centered systems that are in place and they're in the process as we're seeing them break down right now. And that's why everyone's kind of like up in arms and confused. And I'm
Yeah.
just kind of like, okay, I'm just hoping that there is some sort of like in between support. And I think that's going to depend on your area
Mm-hmm.
and your environment. That's why I keep telling everybody get to your fucking environment by 2027,
Yep.
wherever that is for you. And a lot of it's going to be a resonance. Like definitely looking at your human design environment can be almost like signposts of where like what you're kind of like looking for. Like I
Mm-hmm.
need to be in a place where there is some sort of community. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
just talking to somebody yesterday that I went to get acupuncture with, and she's like, you really should check out this like one community that's like an hour and a half away from here, that they're literally like building on their land. They're like actually like planting real food and like there's a
Oh,
whole system. And I'm just like, when she said that, I was like, oh, I was like, I think that's probably where I do need to go. Like
yes.
sooner than later. And I told my husband after when I got home, I was like, we need to just go just check out that area. I don't know why. I said this back to my like being a sacral and like having a defined G and like it just like when they're all kind of communicating together is what I realized that like I have to kind of just go there. Just gotta
Yep.
go there and see
Yep.
what's up. Like I knew we had to start here, but I never got the message that this is where I'll end up, which I will have a
Right.
little hard time leaving because I do actually really love this area. But
I've heard it's beautiful. Amazing.
yes, you'll have to come here one day.
I would love to. Love
Tell
to. Love to.
tell us.
Actually,
Yeah, what?
when we're done with this, we will talk because
Yeah.
there's a trip I'm planning with the kids, and I think we're around there, so I would not have
Yeah.
an issue
Yeah.
popping up.
Okay, so we'll talk for a few minutes before after this. But before
Yeah.
we go, I do want to kind of give people some sort of tools on like where they could start, where they should start, because I don't honestly, I keep just bumping into the right people like you that have really been able to like help guide me and where I can go. And also with I think having a defined spleen for myself and being a third line, it's been kind of a natural just like being in response with it. So where should people start?
First thing that comes to mind is Paul Paul Stamets. He is amazing. I also would get on to I don't watch TV anymore, but Netflix, and check out the oh my gosh, what's the documentary called? If you put mushroom documentaries, then it'll pop up. That's what I did. I also read a lot of books, and honestly, YouTube. YouTube has a lot of things on there. On my personal pages, I do put things, but I am also just trying to not get things shut down and stuff like that, because I still want to be able to, not that I need to be on social media, but I want to keep up. I want to let people know, but, and I want to say that I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast too, that like sparked some interest. And I'm like, hold on, let me figure out what's going on with all of this stuff. And I literally just went on such a long rabbit hole that I'm like, I have to take mushrooms. And I already loved mushrooms, like to eat mushrooms. And it's like, why haven't I thought about this? Like, mushrooms are here to heal us, to help us, to nurture us, to let the anxiety go, to literally fix the connectors in our brain, to give us love. Like, the routine that I had in the mornings would be, I would dose, and then I would sit outside early with coffee and just wake up with the animals and just be so grateful of sitting in this backyard watching the animals like wake up and start chirping, and the birds, and like I would wake up super early to do this, and that just got me going. That was my first step.
Okay. And what do you have? So you said you read some books. Do you have any ones that you thought were good to recommend?
Can I go back? I don't remember the book title. I'll have to look at it. Can we put that in the show notes?
Yeah. We'll put the whatever Lacey has to like help you guys. And also we'll tell you where people can find you afterwards, because directly talking to someone that has gone through the experience, you're also a 6 line, you know, you're a 4/6, you're now. So that's why I'm like, tell us where like, and being a generator, what steps, who do we need to connect with? Obviously you, but like like if people want like reading material and just like, they're unsure, like they're at they just want to like gather some information. I'm like, my first line's like, where do we start with the gathering the information?
Also, Psychedelics Today podcast, they're amazing. Psychedelics Today, there's also a modern psychedelics podcast. The Very Ape podcast, they are amazing. And I should remember the book titles, but it's like movies and books and songs. I don't remember titles. I don't know why my brain doesn't keep that stuff. But
you just remembered a bunch of podcasts though. Gemini. I remember the podcasts. Okay. Which I think I listen to a lot of psychedelic talks on podcasts. Whenever I see, oh, we're talking about psychedelics today, I have to listen to that episode.
Yep.
So yeah, that I think podcasts, honestly, like, just if you're interested in podcasts, that's a great place to start. And then probably some reading material, but you gave some websites, and we'll get whatever books we can find. We'll put those in the show notes for you guys, just to give a few steps.
Yep.
And so when you were like, okay, so after you read all the stuff, and then you're like, okay, I'm doing this. What did you do next? I want to tell people some like what were your steps? Not to say everybody has different steps, but what were your steps after you decided you were gonna do it?
Yeah, my steps, I feel like, were unconventional, but it all worked out how it's supposed to. I was at Applebee's eating, and I
when you say I was at Applebee's eating, you know this is gonna go in a different direction.
I love it. And one of my favorite like bartenders, because I would always sit in the middle, you know, because I want to like talk to people or not, but she just was like, have you ever tried mushrooms? And it's like, weird. I have, but not in the sense that I want to do now. Like, I really want to do it in a managed way. And she goes, well, get a hold of me after work. Got a hold of her after work, got some, and I just started like taking a little one and eating it. And I realized that sometimes it's too much because,
Yeah.
cleaning business, all of a sudden I'd be like, oh shit. Like, oh my God, like, oh God, I have to keep cleaning, So I learned to,
You were your six line going a little bit through the trial and error for the
wow,
first phase of
like,
it.
your face is not melting. Just keep it together. Keep it together. So then I realized that I needed to microdose and actually like go off of the capsules and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I then found microdosing institute on Instagram, and they gave me a protocol to follow. So that's where I did the 3 days on, 3 days off, 4 days on, 4 days off, and I did that. And I would forget, and then sometimes like, oh yeah, I microdosed, I'm like, yeah, cool. So then it's good. And then some days, I would say did I think I did a macrodose every month for a year also while I was doing the microdosing. Kind of hit it hard, but that's
You?
me.
Everyone's on their
I
own
don't know if
journey.
that's like the Capricorn moon or the Taurus rising, or if that is the Gemini part. Like I don't know, but that's what I did. And then that's where I figured that if I was if I wanted the help, other people wanted the help. And that's where I just figured that I need to make these kits, the microdosing kits. I need to do this and be able to help people on their journeys. And whether you're an expert, whether you're a beginner, like I'm here to help you in between and all around. So I'm very excited for this new endeavor.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited for you because this is literally the thing that's like my kitchen's always is like, where's the next trend? And I mean, I've been watching this trend go up and up and up. I mean, we already have, legal things opening up here. That's always a start. And, I mean, I think, when it comes to this stuff, it might take a little bit longer because it's so new. But the fact that it's even starting, yeah.
I've had some downloads that I should probably be getting like putting it on ballots and stuff like that, like pushing for legislation and changing laws. So I've really my mind's been like, ooh, okay, there we go. Like what does that mean? How do I get there? What do I do? Because I would love to be able to make it a normal part for the Midwest, the central Midwest.
Yeah. I mean, it's clearly a passion for you. Like when you talk about it, like, and that's the whole thing. Like as a generator, just so all the generators know, if you get excited about weird shit, that like, it's out of the norm. Like, why do I like this so much? Like for me, it was like, I don't know why I feel like this, like I have to just always be consuming human design. And it's just like my life. And that's all I see. And it's because it lights me up, and we're supposed to be just in constant joy and pleasure. Like obviously life comes in ebbs and flows, but if you're not doing what you love at a consistent basis, then you're not living.
I had to tell my mom because she's been helping me with the deep cleans, and today I had to leave a couple different times to get the kids from summer school, and I came back and she was still like on the same spot. I'm like, as a projector, you're supposed to be figuring this out. You've wasted. I appreciate your work and you've done a beautiful job, but you've wasted time. Like, she goes, "Why are you always?" I'm like, "Mom, you have to understand that I'm going to bring human design into anything, and you're a projector, so I want you to conserve your energy and use it like you're supposed to, especially with her at the age she's at. I mean,
we don't have
figuring it out."
Yeah, we don't have Leah here to ask her how her cleaning. She told me one day the way she cleans. And I was also like, that seems very like she definitely has a system.
Yes.
It's down, and she like it seemed like she'd go in and she'd just get the job done. And that's kind of what I mean, that's what Leah does with all of our like back end stuff. Like she figures out a system and then she bangs it out faster than probably I could do because she's figured the efficient way to do it.
I should probably I've been wanting to ask her about her cleaning business and all that stuff, but I don't want to, I don't know. Perfect timing, whatever that
Just
means.
invite her. Yeah.
Yeah, I will.
She likes to be recognized. So
Yeah.
just
I'm
invite
like,
her.
that's cool. We both have cleaning businesses.
It's so interesting. When you said that, I was like, that's interesting. No wonder you're like, just everything just kind of makes sense. What is your G center? Now I'm forgetting too. Are you,
It is defined. I actually have my chart right here. So I have gate 1, gate 13, 25. I have the whole 2 to 14, and I'm defined with gate 10 in my Neptune, 10.5 for my conscious, and 10.6 for my unconscious.
yeah, me too. And then it's my conscious sun also. And I have the full 1034 channel.
Yeah, mine's 35. I have the cross of consciousness, so, and that's probably why I'm like thinking about things and
Well, that's why you do it. Oh my God. I totally forgot about that for a second. I was like, I'm like, that's why you're driven to do this.
Yeah, it's making sense.
Like, and so when they say, you guys, and this is what we'll end on, when they say that you don't find your purpose and your purpose finds you, like this is, and like, especially for generators, like if we are in the right place at the right time and we're in a rhythm and flow, something that's going to light us up is going to come into our environment and give us that little nudge, be like, hey, do you like this? Poke. And then like response, yes or no. Like it was the same thing for human design. Like I found human design, as so did you, when like there was like not a lot going on with it, like couldn't find anything. If you like talk about YouTube, you'd go on YouTube, search in human design, find all these like old bags.
Or it's like people
like,
not
what are they
explaining.
talking? Yeah, and like you're like, what are they saying? Like speaking like a whole like gibberish to me.
Oh man, I had to buy books.
Yeah, so I bought all the books, all the classes, all the courses, and then like having like for me, I feel like it was fortunate that I did have the Kabbalah Tree of Life background for like when I looked at the body graph, I was able to like really understand how things were moving. Because other people are like, every time it's so funny to me, but every time I pull up a human design chart for someone that hasn't seen it for the first time, they're like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's the Kabbalah Tree of Life.
Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Which I need to get into Kabbalah more, just to understand all facets, because, I'm just trying to like get my astrology down.
Yeah, you do. You want to be able to go through all of the systems that make up human design. For one, to like give they deserve their moment too. Everybody should know what they are and how they exist and how they play out. And there's no information on the tree of life. And that's why I told you guys in the cosmic community that we're gonna go over the 10 emanations in the group. So we're gonna do it at the end of the month. I'll make a live. Hopefully it'll let me, because Facebook's been weird for me lately. I don't know what's going on, but we'll be doing a live on that in the group. So
I'm so here for it. And if not, hopefully maybe a Zoom or something.
You're like, can we do a visual?
Can we please? I need visuals. I don't need them, but I like them.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for like giving us your time, and like you took us on a talk about consciousness. We went on a few different journeys together.
I'm hoping that this sparks interest in people, and I hope that it also made sense, because I do know with the sacral that I just get pulled and I'm like, don't forget, I need to answer that. So I hope that it made sense. And if there's any questions, I am available for.
And where can people find you if they want to reach out and connect?
So on Instagram is Lacey Gemini Fun. And also I have a second profile, Living in Alignment HD. So I'm on both of those. Please get a hold of me through there. and we will absolutely connect.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. This has been really fun.
Thank you,
We could
Krystle.
probably talk for like 5 hours between a Gemini and a Sagittarius generators.
I'm like, weird. It's already this time. Like, wow, we just got started.
I know. We might, well, guys, if you like this and you want a round two, we can go on some more journeys together. I mean, I love hearing. Sometimes I'm like, I would love to just do interviews of people just coming on the podcast and just telling what did you experience? What did you see? What did you hear? All of it. What did you smell? Like all of it. Because I've noticed from microdosing that it really turns my cognition on. I don't know if you've been thought about that at all. And maybe I should have mentioned that when you were in our variable intensive so you could contemplate that. But I'm like, that's something that I think about a lot. I'm like, I can smell everything.
Yep.
Everything energetically, physically, everything stronger.
Yep. I 100% agree because mine's taste. So I'm like in my garden tasting things, or I can smell something, which is kind of,
well, it's connected. Yeah.
Right. And that reminds me of things. Absolutely. 100%.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us. This was really fun. And, catch us over on the next one. Have a great day, Bat. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning into today's episode of our podcast on the Human Design and Astro Club. We hope you have found the information insightful and useful. If you enjoyed the show, please consider leaving us a review and sharing it with your friends and family. We love to hear from our listeners, so feel free to reach out to us with any feedback, questions, or suggestions for future episodes. Until next time, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one.